How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Well, I don't know how well you can see this. It's a card for 988, right? And if you're not, I don't know if you can see that QR code, or let's see if I can. You probably can't scan that, but if you can, give you some information about 988, which is a crisis line. Basically, consider it to be like 911 for just regular life emergencies, and people in other countries, if you have a 988 type number, I don't know if you even have I'm sure you have something similar to 911. I hope you also have a 988 type number like we do here. But 988, in fact, Foundation 2 is an organization that works the crisis with the crisis services, right? And Foundation 2 is I don't know if this is a local thing, because it's got a 319 number, which is an Iowa area code. So I'm guessing that Foundation 2 is just like a local thing, or like a regional thing here in Iowa. I don't know that for sure, though. But actually, I need to call them and get involved with them, because in some of my previous videos, I have talked about the importance of mental health and taking care of your mental health, right? Why do I talk about that kind of stuff? Well, because I suffer from, I don't always suffer from, but I deal with post-traumatic stress. Yes, sometimes I do suffer from. And it's difficult at times, right? And what is this 988 number good for, right? What is it good for? It's not just if you're feeling suicidal. And, don't get me wrong, if that's your feeling, you need to dial either 988 or 911 immediately. Either one. If it's like imminent, immediate, then you call 911, right? If it's just you're having these thoughts and feelings, and you're afraid that you're going to act on it, 988 might be able to help. Actually, they'll be able to help, right? But it's not just for feeling suicidal. It's also for people in abusive relationships. Be that, not necessarily, like a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other of whatever type. Not necessarily in that situation, but, it could be, an abused child. It could be an elder abuse situation, in any type of abusive relationship. They can help you out. All right? Life stress. Stress can get the best of any of us at any point in time, right? And most of us deal with it all right. A lot of us don't, though. So they can talk you through a situation that you might be dealing with that you don't know how to handle on your own, right? I think we've all been there. You don't know how to handle this situation. Like, I don't know, say for example, a divorce or something like that, right? Maybe you're dealing with the death of a loved one, right? And you just can't process it. You don't know how to handle it, right? also deal with family conflicts, right? So, not just abuse necessarily, but the tension is just there and it's building, and it's something that maybe could be abusive, or it could be an unhealthy or toxic relationship. I mean, my ex-wife and I, right? There's a reason that we are not married, right? There's a reason that we got divorced. It was a toxic relationship. And side note, I'm not blaming entirely her for that, because we both contributed to that situation, right? So, that's just reality of the situation, right? Depression and anxiety. Depression and anxiety, which, by the way, can lead to all this other stuff, right? Depression can lead to suicidality. Suicidal ideation, I guess, would be a better way to say that. I don't like to admit this, but I think I've said it in a previous video. I've been to that point. I have. And I've had people there to help me out. And I've been there to help others out who've been in that situation. So 988, right? But I didn't I didn't do this video just to encourage you to call 988, right? It is being politicized, unfortunately. Because they will help anyone, right? Dealing with any type of a situation. You do understand that there are still, to this day, kids who will come out as gay to their parents, and they'll be rejected, right? 2025, and parents are still rejecting their gay kids. It's not nearly as prominent as it used to be, but it happens. What is more prominent, however, is they reject their kids if they come out as trans. Well, the current regime wants to basically not fund they're funding the hotline in the same numbers as the previous administration, but they moved money around so as not to help trans people, particularly trans kids. Right? Why is that? Why do you want people to die? You do understand that the LGBTQ community is at high risk for suicide, right? High risk. And that's not because, being LGBTQ, wherever they fall on that spectrum of LGBTQ and, the letters that come beyond that, wherever they fall on there, that's not to say that they're depressed because of that. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the reason they're prone to suicide is because they are also prone to being bullied and being ostracized? You ever stop to think about that? We can't just let people live their lives, let them be people. I don't understand what it is to be trans. I don't understand what it is to be gay. I don't understand what it is to be any part of that community, really. I have people in my life who are gay or bi or whatever, to the best of my knowledge, I don't know anyone who is trans. That's not to say I've never met anybody who is trans, but I don't know anyone who is, right? Give you an example, right? Last Saturday at the No Kings protest, I was there and there was a trans person standing right next to me, trans woman right there next to me. We had a conversation. I mean, I didn't know she was trans until she told me. And it's all right. I mean, we had a nice conversation. You know, she's in college and she wants to start up a nonprofit to benefit the LGBTQ plus community. What did I say? Great, you do that. You know, congratulations. I wish you all the best in that. You know, and I may not know what it's like to be LGBTQ plus, but I don't need to know to understand that they are human beings, just like the rest of us, and that as human beings, they are just as deserving of being treated with respect and dignity as everyone else, right? You know, and even if you believe that it is a choice, right? Even if you believe it's a choice, how does it hurt you? How does it hurt you? I mean, and if you think it's a mental illness, well, you know, you blame mental illness on a lot of things, you know. Blame a lot of things on mental illness, right? So, why wouldn't you want to fund mental health treatment, right? So, I don't know. Some things that I've never quite understood. But yeah, if you are in need of help, if you are in a personal, emotional crisis, 988. Again, there's the QR code. I don't know if you can scan that or not. I would guess probably not, but just in case, it's there. There's one on that side just in case, right? 988. And you know what? For those that would be affected by this change to where they're taking away counselors for trans people or whatever it is they're doing, don't get discouraged by that. Don't be discouraged. Call them anyway, because they will still help the best they can. All right? They will still provide the best help they can. So, don't be afraid to call that line if you need to. And, you know, hopefully you don't. But if you do, just remember there is no shame in getting help. It is not a sign of weakness. It is actually a sign of strength. And no, that's not just a cliche. You may think things are impossible right now, but there's someone out there who loves you and wants you around, needs you around. So get the help you need if you need it, right? Get it as soon as you need it. And I'll see you next time.